admire the way they did respond. We'll see now how Cal talked about what a great season they'd have, but in the late parts, one little thing would go wrong, and then other things would go wrong, and that's kind of how it spiraled very poorly for Cal, being up 19-13, getting outscored.
The mood here in Rec Hall is certainly one of, if you are going to go for the knockout punch, you better make sure that Penn State doesn't get back up. And the sense now is if Penn State jumps out quickly here, it could be all over for Cal.
Absolutely, could be very dangerous. Cal pressed Penn State the most in the semifinals last year. 30-28, very close game. And then each game since then, or of the two following games, were farther and farther apart.
And Penn State with the quick start here, a couple points. The 12th tournament appearance for Cal. Last year, their first trip to the national semis. And, of course, the Nittany Lions, they are the defending national champions, riding an NCAA record 61-match winning streak. The first team in NCAA history not to drop a set throughout the entire regular season. But, Karch, as you would expect, as we get deeper into the NCAA tournament, Cal the toughest opponent they've faced so far, and certainly if they can advance, more trouble down the road, but boy, Wilson and Hodge are just pounding them through the floor.
There's one of those plays that Coach Rose talked about yesterday. They showed some new wrinkles. Watch how Harmato comes in and they run a double quick with Hodge behind. They keep showing a little bit more. We asked Rose about it yesterday. He said, we got a lot more to show, but it's all in Glass's hands. How much she wants to divulge and make opponents think. What else do we have to worry about?
There is Glass. She's your quarterback, your point guard. And there is Hodge that just threw that one straight down on the other side of the net.
My gosh, slam dunk there. That's a play. When she comes inside, she will often tip it, but not slam it down to her left.
At 6'3", she can touch 10 feet 10 inches, which is well over a basketball rim. Cal off the block for the kill. Megan Schmidt, the sophomore from Kentfield, California, bleeds blue and gold. Her parents both were track athletes at Cal. She used to go to Cal camps when she was a kid. Said, hey, Coach, I want to play for the Cal Bears. He said, well, we can let you walk on, and then you've got to earn it. And she's done just that.
And, in fact, they challenged her last spring to do something different. And you see it right here. This serve from deep behind the end line has been very effective for her this season, like a knuckleball jumping around. And then her defense got better at passing, too.
Armato with the kill. Schmidt, though, a great example. If you want to play, there is a spot out there on the floor. You've just got to figure out a way to make yourself worthy enough, and Megan has done that. Big serve from Hodge. Jupiter out of the back. That's why Penn State's the top blocking team in America.
Great help by Alicia Glass that time. You can see she comes from the right of your screen. Watch her come way in and shut it down, and that all of a sudden there's a spot, and then there's not for Jupiter.
Wiley sliding behind for the kill.
That's the difference. Chudra is not used to that kind of help from blockers, opposing blockers. She would have thought in most situations this season that would have been a one-on-one hitting opportunity, but Glass slips in there, one-on-two, wins the battle.
One of the things that Cal talked about last night after their win over Illinois was how happy they were with the fight they showed. They were actually down late in a couple of those games, and Rich Feller said that was a great sign for us. We fought through some tough spots and showed a lot of spirit. They'll need more of that tonight against Penn State.
And you can see Penn State's main focus here is giving the ball to Chudra, making her think about passing before she goes to hit. That's a bigger load for hitters to carry. Expect Harmato to go at her again. Got the overpass that time.
Substitution. Harmato will come out. Ream will go on to serve for her. One of the things, too, that's impressive when you watch Penn State, how cool is, how often they're smiling, they're laughing with one another, they're really enjoying the journey. As has been the case all year long for them. Chad Murray, one of the top rookies in the country, with the kill. Penn State trailed by as many as 7. They fell behind 7-1 very early in the set. and then came roaring back and won at 25-21.
Took the punch and countered back very effectively, as you'd expect from the #1 team.
Glass to Fawcett. Hitting error for Nicole. Her hitting percentage has fallen off a bit here in the postseason. The 2008 Big Ten Player of the Year.
But it's so amazing for her to be hovering around 400 all season long. That's something a middle hitter can do. It's not supposed to be able to be possible for an outside hitter, where you always have more blockers and a better defense set up against you.
And Karch, those are two more records that could fall by the end of the year for Penn State. No team has ever hit 400 in a season. They are above that. No team has ever had all 6 starters hit better than 300, and Penn State is above that.
Well above 300 each play.
Pushed over by Murray, ricocheted off a Brown block. Point Cal.
Probably not a good choice by Brown. She was going for the solo stuff block there, but what happens is if you don't get your hands on it right, it deflects and goes right away from your teammate who's ready to make the easy play.
Solomon comes back in up front for Cal. Lloyd serving. 3rd in the country in assists this year for the starting center for the Bears. Fawcett with the rocket.
Wow, Fawcett. Penn State completely out of system. Alicia Glass had to bump this with her forearm. See there, that's not a normal setter move, and yet Fawcett saves it by going right over Solomon down the line.
Football. That's something you say a lot with Penn State, isn't it? The ability to hit over the top of blocks where they can all leap so well.
All 5 players on this team can do that. You're going to have to peek over at Coach Rose's things. He's one of the few coaches who takes his own stats, wants to know what's going on, as he says, hey, I don't want to tell you what happened in the post-game press conference. I want to know now in case something's going wrong.
In his 30th season, he's lost the mustache over the years. The hair's a bit grayer, but the ability's unbelievable. A Hall of Famer, and his winning percentage over the course of his career, the best in the history of the sport.
Absolutely amazing. Leading among active coaches, the best of all time, Don Shaw, but he coached about half the time. Rose has had well over 1,000 matches. In fact, finish this season, and if they win out and win almost all their matches next season, he could be the second coach to reach 1,000. Hawaii coach Dave Shoji is pressing that milestone also.
There's Rose giving some instructions to Brown. Hawaii, by the way, and Coach Shoji will be in action tonight against Stanford in one of the other regional semis. Texas and Iowa State will be coming up next from Austin. The winner of this match will take on the winner of Nebraska and Washington. That's the late night match. There's the all-time win leaders with Andy Banikowski leading the way.
Yep, Coach Rose with 35 of those 960 just this season. Got about 3 or 4 more, 3 more that he can notch this season.
The ace for Alyssa DeRico. They have their football pep rallies on Friday nights in here at Rec Hall before their big games, and at the end of the season against Michigan State. The football pep rally was right after their volleyball match, which clinched another Big Ten title. And Joe Paterno said, hey, I'm the second best coach on campus. Russ Rose is the first.
I love how both DeRico and Holthouse, 2 of the smallest players on the court, have 2 of the toughest serves. It's a 1-2 punch that comes at you, one after another. They're in the rotation consecutively.
14-10 Nittany Lions. Cal with the serve. Megan Schmidt. Glass had to punch it over. Now Carly Lloyd will set. Murray blocked. Armato was there.
And that's the danger of running a slower offense where there's no middle. Armato can absolutely root that thing for the point.
The NCAA Women's Volleyball Regional Finals, presented on ESPNU by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We'll pick you up.
The NCAA Women's Volleyball Championships region finals here at Rec Hall. And Penn State with the win in the first set, a big comeback to take the opener, and now they are up 15-10 here in the second. Set to restart. Megan Hodge serving for the Nittany Lions, and the service error gives the point to Cal. Hodge leading the way with 6 kills for Penn State. They have been out blocking Cal and out hitting the Bears as well. And the ace this time from the Cal side. NCAA Women's Volleyball Championships will be back in Omaha, Nebraska. Our semifinal coverage will begin on Thursday with the National Championship on Saturday. The 2008 NCAA Women's Volleyball Championships. For more, go to ncaa.com, the official online home for all 88 national championships. And Fawcett got a touch for the kill.
Saving it again. Hodge missing 2 passes in a row, one unplayable, one over the net. But Cal making a bad choice. Chudra, instead of throwing it ball and giving it right back to her opponents, probably better to run the whole offense. Fawcett saves it for another kill.
16-12, the sets to 25. Best 3 of 5 to see who moves on to the national semifinals. Nice roll over the tape for Kelsey Ream. And a little emotion as well.
Yesterday it was Chudra getting the kind little bounce off the tape. But this time, everything going Penn State's way in set number 2.
The NCAA Women's Volleyball Regional Finals presented on ESPNU by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Packed house here at Rec Hall in University Park, Pennsylvania. Penn State, perfect on the season. They haven't dropped a match. They haven't lost a set, although they took quite a scare from Cal in the opener before rallying to win it 25-21. Now they're up here in the second. Fawcett long on that attack.
Even though Fawcett was long, you could see what a tentative swing Hana Chudra took. That's not a good sign for Cal that she just lollipopped the ball in over a strong Penn State block.
She really struggled against Penn State in last year's national semifinal, and she has not started well again. She's hitting negative with just a couple of kills and 5 errors. As Ariel Wilson uses the block for the kill.
That's when Penn State or any team has to think about is, do you go at the good blocking of Chudra? That time Wilson winning the battle, tooling it off the left hand of Chudra.
Last year's Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Chudra much more effective on that swing. Point Cal.
A much more aggressive swing, and Penn State making a mistake. The block went too far toward the line, left her a lot of angle, but Penn State still sticking with a strategy. Make Chudra do the work. Serve her and make her play the first contact and then the third.
Carly Lloyd with the tough serve. Fawcett, the outside, swinging in the middle for the kill.
Again, not a great pass by Penn State, but with all the hitters they have, you see Glass having to pull way over to the sideline. Still, so many weapons to choose from.
Fawcett with the service error, went for it.
Coach Rose with a bit of a frown as he's marking that service error down, feeling his team's a little too careless with those.
Does he get out the red pen for that?
I think he does. Maybe a bold. But actually, Cal having more service errors than Penn State so far. Cal really does need to serve tough to try to create some kind of opportunity against Penn State. Another tentative swing.
Well, Rich Fowler admitted last night, hey, you've got to be pretty close to perfect to beat Penn State, and they can't afford giving the Nittany Lions any points as they pick one up there.
Wow, did you see how Alicia Glass went all the way across the court to make that play right in front of Hodge? She was so good, I think she confused Hodge a little. Who's playing that ball in front of me?
Wiley able to jump on it. Point Cal. There's the junior out of Leland, Michigan. Alicia Glass led the nation in assists this year. Russ Rose says, as she goes, we go. Now, there's her mentor over there, Salima Rockwell, one of the assistant coaches who was an All-American setter here at Penn State.
And she talked about it this week. There are so many players on this team who could potentially play in the Olympics for the United States, and she's been inspired by her teammates, Hodge and Fawcett, who she thinks have that potential even more than she does. But if she can play with them, maybe she could go on to that level.
Right now, Cal forcing the timeout as they pulled to within a couple. We've got more regional finals coming your way. Tonight, another doubleheader. At 9 Eastern, it's Hawaii taking on Stanford, followed at 11:30 Eastern by Washington and Nebraska. That very intriguing 4-5 matchup, which will be in Seattle. A tough spot for Nebraska. Those are the night games coming up tonight. And for the matchup tonight, Washington and Nebraska, the 4 and the 5 seeds. Kendra Carlson, the sophomore outside hitter, one to watch, and Jordan Larson, an All-American for Nebraska.
Who's having a phenomenal year for Nebraska, and really Nebraska with a miraculous season, losing so many All-Americans from last year, so many spots to fill, holes to plug, and they're right there contending for yet another NCAA semifinal berth.
Lost 4 All-Americans to graduation or retirement. Then they lost their starting middle blocker, Corey Cooper, late in the season, and a loss at Texas, a redshirt freshman, I believe Jordan Wilberger, now starting in the middle for them. Overcoming so much, and now literally a road match at Washington tonight. And
Washington also doing the job. They looked very kind of un-Washington-like early in the season. 2 3-0 losses at home, back-to-back to Stanford and Cal, but bouncing back very strong. Only 1 loss since to number 2 in the country, Stanford. Washington really steadying it out. It's going to be a very interesting battle between those 2 programs.
And I believe a preseason 5th place pick in the Pac-10. They end up with the 5 seed overall in the NCAA tournament. A terrific season for them.
Just as Nebraska got no votes to finish at the top of the Big 12. Both programs overperforming this year.
Point for Penn State. They go up 22-18. 3 points away from taking the commanding 2-0 lead. The overpass going to get him an opportunity. Glass to Hodge. No. Glass, the backstep. Harmato missed it wide.
But did you see how Dorico served so aggressively? Then she has to sprint in and make that play at 8 feet. Really wonderfully done. She creates the scoring opportunity. They don't make the point, but great serve and great free ball control.
Schmidt will serve for the Bears. Dorico's pass to Glass. Hodge off the block. Point Nittany Lions.
And I like that speed a lot better. Hodge can run in faster, gets a better jump. It's very difficult for Mindy Wiley as the Cal middle blocker to get out there and form a block with no holes in it.
2 points from the set, so Rich Feller will call the timeout here for Cal. It's a party here in Rec Hall today as Penn State looks to stay perfect and move on to the national semis. This was last year out in Sacramento, going for the national championship against Stanford. They jumped on top 2-zip, hung on after Stanford rallied to force a 5th, and then the national championship going to the Nittany Lions.
And you could see the speed of that set that went out to Megan Hodge. It seems like today Penn State's gotten away from that a little bit, and that's one of the things that Cal was able to slow them down, at least until 1913 in that first set.
There is the national championship banner. Of course, Penn State and Stanford are the only 2 teams that have appeared in all 28 championships. Stanford leading the way with 6 national titles. And they will be in action tonight against Hawaii. And this was last June when both the Penn State men's and women's teams went to the White House to meet the president. And little Honest Abe in the background pondering whether they can make it 2 in a row. I think there he is.
Well, you know what's interesting, Coach Rose, when they won in '99, they had that opportunity, and he passed it up. It's like, hey, we're hungry. We got to get better. We're going to go on and try and win another championship. But I think he ended up regretting that, and they took advantage of it the second time.
Hodge off the service error, but she was last year's NCAA tournament MVP in the final against Stanford. 26 kills for Megan Hodge. Glass with an athletic play to keep it alive. Now Chudra will serve.
And Chudra had a one-on-one opportunity because Glass made such an incredibly athletic play. You think there was a touch on that?
Looked like it. Feller's arguing. Looked like Penn State was trying to serve it quickly, Karch, so there would be no discussion about it.
No asking of those linesmen. Get it going.
Set point, Penn State. Cal stays alive.
That's what Cal needs more of. Got to get the ball to Wiley, got to get it to their other middles, and that way Penn State can't camp out on Shooter on the outside.
Wiley now with 6 kills in the match. Here she is to serve another set point. Glass, Wilson, 2-zip, Nittany Lions.
That's one of those unstoppable plays Coach Rose talked about. When Wilson elevates, she's hitting it at the top of the antenna.